How's everybody doing?
Great.
Good. Good.
I'm just going to ask you a little bit. I'll ask something about the class, and then we're just going to jibber jabber about pretty much anything. I don't really care what we talk about because I'm just going to 95% of it out. So, just whatever. It doesn't matter.
Hey, Rex, I need my purse.
We're going to talk about Susan's purse. Okay. So anyway, I don't know who had. I know some people were in the class, some people weren't. But you guys have any thoughts about it? A year later.
I would say that it's just been really beneficial, really useful material, and even like you guys have to go check out Scott's TikToks because he always posting highlights about the class there. So I think it's really cool. Glad that he did it. Glad that he was able to host it and like bring people in, show different examples of lighting that you can do, different scenarios, external, internal. So it was awesome.
Did you ask questions?
Yes, I did ask questions in class.
Okay, not everybody did.
Yeah.
She was the best question asker.
Oh,
Yeah, Carlos.
Interrogator.
That's right. She was. She wasn't there when you were there, I don't think, was she?
No.
Yeah,
I
no,
needed
that
you.
was the one class that I wasn't there for. Yeah.
I needed
She
you.
was.
Yeah.
He was the ace student. Right? These two were the ace students.
All right.
They were awesome.
Yeah.
Did you get a chance to look at your finished thing, Alton?
I have.
Yeah.
I have.
Hope I did you
I
justice.
need a little makeup.
Yeah.
No, I enjoyed doing it, and I was pleased with the results of it there. You can get hung up on little technical details, but I think the gist of it's good. And I'm not just talking about my part. Of course, it was good, but I mean the whole organization of it, the whole thoughts of it were, I thought, presented well. So, but it's up to what did y'all learn from it?
Yeah.
Was it applicable? Was it real world applicable?
I would say so.
I definitely think so. I do a lot of event work, so a lot of that stuff is run and gun on a gimbal, so you're doing whatever with whatever available lighting. But with that said, I've also had some of those corporate clients say, hey, you're shooting our event, could you also do some headshots for us?
Mm-hmm.
And then it's like, okay, when I had that was a more recent project, I was like, okay, I'm going to upgrade my lighting kit. And I referred back to some of your videos, and it also helped me ask questions that I didn't know to ask. And some of that was Googling, but then taking that on set with the new set of 3 lights was so beneficial. I knew what I had, and that's...
All right, so when you're going to do a setup, when somebody says, I want you to do a talking head interview here, what's the first light you put up?
The key light.
Okay. All right. That works.
Yeah.
What's second light?
Well, I think it also depends on who you're interviewing and what it's for. So, like, I've seen some things about for women, you want to have more the fill light, right? Even lighting on her face. But if it's going to be more moody, you may want like split lighting effect. And so I think that taking that in, where you're going to position is for the effect is.
All right. How would you light her? Turn around so we can see you.
Right. Yeah, that light right there in front, probably.
Okay. If you had 2 lights, what would you do with the second light?
I would put one probably behind, or get some hair, get a little bit of that halo effect, backlighting. Yeah, make the hair pop.
Okay.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
All right.
I'll tell you the idea I really like, and this is kind of an advanced idea, I think, and you got to be careful with this because it can be abused, but I feel like you really ought to learn all these rules, all these, like, this is how you do it. Do the key light first, 3 lights, this is what they do, this is how you do it. Like, learn all that stuff because they're rules for a reason. They make sense. They're the standard way to do things for a reason. Understand them, master them, blah, 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 blah. But I love the idea, if you've got all that and you know all that, to be able to be good enough to break the rules. To say, I'm going to do it completely differently.
Yeah.
Because I want to do some creative thing that's interesting to me, Not because I don't know what I'm doing, but because I intentionally want to break the rules. And that's cool, But you don't want to do it because you don't know what you're doing and you're making a mistake. And maybe you get lucky and it's cool. You want to do it because you know. you know, you're breaking the rules. And I think that's super cool when you're able to do that, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
What'd you learn from it?
I don't know if I was there, but
You there, some?
All right, you got to talk to the camera. So,
You were running the camera, weren't you?
oh yeah, I was.
Did you watch the video? No,
Parts
she
of
was
it.
running the camera.
I was running the video. I do remember that. My legs were so tired. I can't. I'm not gonna refer back to the video, but I am gonna refer back to. I don't know if I can mention it. I don't know.
Go ahead.
But I remember back to your damn blue shoot and some of the things that you did. I was honestly really inspired just by the way that you didn't just light him, the subject, but you lit the room. And it wasn't just like you filled the room with light. You focused on lighting some of the bookshelf or, you know, just his backlight to, like you said, add that halo effect or just add some more intention to it. What else did you do? I just love the way you lit the books. The whole room was awesome. And I was like, okay, just being, I don't want to call myself a beginner, but, you know, still kind of new in the industry and figuring out things. That's honestly one thing I want to like work on going into 2026 is not just focusing on my subject, but focusing on the overall photo or the overall frame. So I appreciate that. Thank you for having me on that.
Yeah, I think maybe this is one of those things that AI is just going to kill and will be gone. But if you're making a movie or something, you are lighting this whole environment, and that's awesome. You know, but even if you're lighting an interview, to me it feels like the creative opportunities, the background.
Yeah.
It's this blank palette. You can do whatever you want with it. I mean, the person, that's one thing, and that's cool. And there's some things you can do with the person. You can be creative. But the background is this. It's like a whole world. You can make, with the lens selection, you can put as much of it or a little as you want it. You can make it as bright. There's so many options. And you can really do cool, creative things with the background, you know, like you said. And you can spend a lot of time on it, you know. So I think it's a good opportunity, you know, not just to do some default thing, but to, you know, if you have the time, if you have the knowledge, if you have the money, you know, whatever.
Yeah,
But yeah,
for sure.
I
Like I even, you know, some of what I don't know about everyone else, but I save a lot of money for like Black Friday to just see what I can buy. Like that's the best time to buy gear, in my opinion. But part of me was like struggling, like, do I want to buy lenses or do I want to focus on lighting? Because I was like, oh, maybe I want to, you know, test out some anamorphics because, you know, those are beautiful and they, you know, tell a different story in the same way. But, you know, for the type of clientele that I have, I think it was important for me to invest in lighting. And that was that decision was post like your shoot with Dan Blue. And I was like, you know, I'm going to add another light to my kit. So, yeah.
And I got to tell you, you know, that damn blue thing, I'm glad you appreciated it, but that was one of the most limited things I've done in a long time. Because we were in a conference room. There was like almost nothing to do. I mean, like some of the other things we've done very similar to that, those very same kind of shoots, but we're just in an office with more interesting backgrounds, and we were able to do more things. Like I was walked in there and I was like, man, there's very little going on here, you know. And so I'm glad that you thought it was cool that we could do the little bit we could do, you know. And it looks good. Yeah, it worked out pretty well. Yeah.
What's the best thing you can do to help lighting that you can put in your purse?
That I can put in my purse? I always keep my MC.
Cash.
Like an MC light with me.
Cash.
I mean, I don't keep it in my purse, but I keep it in my case.
Okay.
I always keep
that's
that
a
with
good
me.
one.
That's exactly
I'm thinking
what I was
of-
thinking of.
I'm thinking of
I have
something
those
else.
little lights too.
Yeah, they're perfect for like practical sometimes, or just like I've tried to start shooting my own personal content, and I'll just, you know, they always say like turquoise and I don't know the technical term that we use, but like blue and orange always work well together. So like shooting my own content, I'll do a little bit warmer just for my skin tone. I won't always go 5600 on the light, but I'll add in like a blue, like with the MC just in the back of my room, and it just really, you know, magic.
For us audio guys, what's an MC?
Grab that black box off that table right there. Back in the next room.
Oh,
So, you know what I mean?
All right.
See.
The things you
See?
say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Put it in the background, just
Yeah.
adds a lot.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
You want to show it to the camera? Just
Yeah.
quickly flash it and then take it.
Yeah.
There you go.
Change the color though. Turn
All
the
right.
wheel.
So,
They are. They're good little.
all right. So
colors.
that's one thing that fits in your pocketbook, right?
Correct.
All right. Here's another thing that would make a great difference, and particularly with interviews, things like that. Some little amount of makeup.
Yeah.
All right. It can be just tissue or the the tissue that has cornstarch or whatever in it that absorbs shine.
Yeah.
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 Or just neutral powders of a couple of different shades
Yeah,
there.
100%.
Because that can make such a difference, and it's something you can always have with you.
Yeah.
And it takes the shine off. Or the other side is having a lotion or something to add a little bit of shine to somebody's face that's very dull.
Very true.
You know, so again, it's small. You can always have it with you. So there you go.
Heck yeah.
Look out for Scott's makeup tutorial classes coming out.
I gotta
late
tell you-
We didn't get into
March in 2026.
lipsticks. He'll cover the lipstick part.
I got to
of
tell
it.
you, there's a couple things in my wish list, and one is if I could have done the class differently, and this is just a matter of having the resources to do it, but I would have loved, and I kind of had my vision for this, but it didn't really pan out just because of the resources we had to put into it. But I really would have loved to have been in a situation where there was the instructional part of it, and then there was really a workshop where people could grab the lights on their own, try their own stuff, work with it. Maybe you had multiple sets of lights, and ask questions and, practice it. Because to me, the way to learn it is to listen to it and then practice it. And what I'm trying to tell people about even watching it online is just watch one of them and then go do it. Go on a shoot, watch somebody, have discussions about it, experiment, grab a light and try it. Don't just try to put it all in your head because it'll just get washed out. Watch 30 minutes. There are 30-minute pieces. Watch it and then try it. And then watch another 30 minutes, because I just think that back and forth is really helpful. And I'd love to be able to do more of this where we structure it that way, where you can, you can have that little block of instruction and then you can try it for a while, and then go to the next subject. I'd really like to do that. The other thing I was going to mention is I would love to do more of this. I don't know if I'll get the opportunity, but I would love to do foundational film sound.
Nah, that's a bad idea.
And I'm gonna and I'd be on the phone to you guys.
Yeah. So Ben and I can come in and
Foundational film grip, whatever it is. I mean, not whatever it is, but there's a bunch of little basic
Yeah.
things
Yeah.
Grip
that I
would be
feel
cool.
like you
Grip would be cool,
people
yeah.
that aren't in the business,
They have
it's
no idea what it
disorienting.
is.
You don't know what
Yeah.
you don't know what this stuff even is.
Yeah.
Ben and I could come in and tell you how much better this could have been.
Right.
Yeah.
I'd come to that. That's great.
But I mean,
Yeah.
to
Scott's wearing a mic on his t-shirt here, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Good.
Clean it up.
Dressed it. It's under his shirt.
But the way I've tried, hopefully, to give an idea of what lighting is about,
Yeah.
to give an idea of what different aspects of production are about, and so it'd be great to be able to do that. And I don't know, maybe people are out there doing that. I don't know, but that's my vision, would be to be able to give people that foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here's a question, which is, how do young people get started in the business now? Because when I was coming in, as a number of you know, you could have me come on and I could carry like the beta videotape deck, which is a lot of reason why I was doing sound, because the headphones plug into the beta deck that I'm already carrying. Okay, well anyway, there's a lot of reasons I do sound, but that's an important reason.
That's
Okay,
right.
And but now you don't have stuff that you need helpers to carry.
Bribery, I'd say mostly.
Bribery is the way. Okay,
I'd like to answer,
please.
being younger.
And the mic's there. Oh,
Yes.
with Adobe
Talk to
Podcast.
camera on this
Yeah.
one.
Maybe Jalen, you want to come in about right here? Yeah, that
Make it
way.
a little easier. I would say for younger people looking to get into the industry, first off, use the resources you already have. So any connections that you have to even just like a photographer, ask them questions, send them a DM. Like I don't know if everybody's on like Instagram, but if you have like direct message or email, those are I think people really appreciate that when you reach out to them, because at the end of the day, it's kind of a compliment. So, like, if I ever get reached out by someone, I'm like, oh, that was really, like, you think of enough of me to think I can help you. Secondly, the way I kind of got my start was I was just a PA. My friend couldn't do it.
What do you mean, just a PA?
Well, I mean, I was a production assistant. My first job was with Advanced Auto Parts. My friend couldn't make it. I was just starting photography and videography, and she's like, "Hey, can you come help out Jay Spain?" Shout out Jay Spain. He's kind of the one who helped me get into all this. But yeah, like, try to get on set as a production assistant, or even, it doesn't always have to be a production assistant, but just being on set. However you can be used as help. Always ask questions, because there's several different departments. That's one of the biggest shoots I've been on, like, as far as DP, director, AD, set design, DIT, and, like, looking back on it now, I think I figured out at that time, the only person I really knew, or I was able to ask questions at that time, was DIT. And I still don't really understand it, but it's just good to be able to be in those situations or those atmospheres where you can actually put your eyes on it and be like, oh, what is that? And then you can go up to the person and be like, oh, what do you do? How does this help the production?
Do people get bothered by you coming up and asking questions?
I don't really care. I mean, I think it's there's a time and a place. Like, if we're rolling, of course, that's not the right time. But if there's some downtime on lunch, or, like I said, I spoke to DIT. They're kind of off to the side, kind of doing their thing. So it didn't feel like a bother to him. Now, if we're talking about the director or the assistant AD or DP, maybe, reach out to them after the shoot is done. Send them an email, thank them for allowing you to be on set, and just let them know your situation. Like, I'm new to the industry. This is my knowledge from college. Would you be open to hopping on, like, an informational interview? 15, 20 minutes just to learn a little bit. So, it's a time and a place for each person in all situations. So that would be kind of my thoughts on it. Just, try to get on set as much as
What's
any
been
way
your
possible.
experience? Come in here and
Oh.
tell us about your experience.
You can see which front camera?
Sure.
Yeah. I think it was similar. I started out doing a lot of doc stuff. Wanted to get on set a little bit more, so also PA'd, did camera department, lighting, bounced back and forth a lot there. The two are very different, and that's why I also like Scott's class, because it kind of helps to differentiate the two a little bit for me, especially because I was coming in and I didn't know, like, what the difference was between the two. I was on a lot of, like, skeleton shoots where people were doing a little bit of everything. So that's when I started to learn, like, oh, shoot, here's, like, gaffing, and then there's, like, grip. And so it just kind of broke things down a little bit. But I'd say, pretty much the same, doing a lot of outreach to people. And, like, not even, like, expecting anything into return, right? Because, people are, like, really busy sometimes. Yeah. But just saying, like, acknowledging that, like, you've seen their work, right? Like, some people that I wanted to reach out to, like, I've known they've worked, like, a lot of, like, Emmy-nominated stuff or whatever it may have been, right? And a lot of them are, like, really busy. But, like, some of them, like, I would just, like, scour, like, their work, like, stuff they did, like, sometimes, like, decades ago, depending on how big their credit list was. And so I would just watch, like, a little bit of their stuff and just, like, shoot them, like, an email, like, an outreach email, like, hey, like, I saw you did this and this, like, I thought it was really cool. And then I would just, like, even ask if I could ask a question. And those are the times I realized, like, people would really get back with me. They're like, oh, yeah, sure. And then about what? And I learned also, like, be really specific in what you want help in. Because a lot of times people really want to help you in the industry, which I think is really cool. It feels like a lot like a family at times, so, like, just a collaboration, and just because of how niche it is, like, only, like, people who are in the industry kind of know, like, how it works, the dynamics there. So when you are able to be, like, specific in your ask, it helps a lot, because then people know what they can help you with. Or even if they don't know that information, they can point you to, like, one of their colleagues or people who would better be able to help you. So it's been really good, and I think, like, especially, like, here, like, in North Carolina film industry bit, like, people have just been so supportive. So I think, like, people are saying, like, oh, the industry is kind of, like, shifty and, like, shaking a little bit, but I feel like if you want to get in, then, like, find that access point, kind of like what Jalen was saying, like start where you can with the resources that you have and just like kind of go with it there. I think it just comes down to like faith and knowing that, you know, you can do it, just believe in yourself. So, yeah.
Well, you know, it was true when I started, I think it's still true now, which is that it is a combination of, it's attitude, competency, and connection. So you have to, and it's tricky, you have to connect with the right people and have a wonderful attitude and know how to do something. You don't have to know how to do everything, but you need to do something well enough that you're valuable to them, you know? And so if somebody comes in and they're like, we love working with this person, and they're really helpful. And so, yeah, it's worth getting them to do this. And then, you know, they'll introduce you to the next person and the next person, and then you get to know these people who are a network that can help you, you know? And that's where education is really important. You really take it on yourself to get educated so that you know what you're doing, you know, so that you know how to do the job that it is that they're asking you to do, so that you have that competence, you know. But I think those, you know, I think that's really important, you know, and people fall flat on any of those, you know, legs kind of.
I would also, good.
Okay. I just wanted to piggyback off of something you said about doing your research and learning about, you know, whatever position you may be in. If it's your first time, because it's always somebody's first time being a PA or first time being a cam op, editor, set designer, assistant, do as much research, like you said, do as much research as you can, because when you are on set, it is very busy. People have a job to do, so they can't teach you everything at that time. So do as much as you can ahead of time. Whether, you know, we have so many resources today, like YouTube. I'm just gonna say YouTube because it's off the straight person. Like YouTube University. That's honestly how I started. I didn't go to film school. I got a degree in marketing and sport management. So not really any, you know, film stuff. But
How many went to film school, real quick? Just raise your hands.
He taught it.
But yeah, so YouTube is an amazing resource, and of course there's many other ones that people have, but even TikTok, you know, Scott's on TikTok, I'm on TikTok, everybody, a lot of people are on TikTok, I'm not gonna say everybody, but like I remember the first time before I got on set, I was like, what does a PA do? What are the terms? Like, that's one thing for any job that you're on set is like learning as many terms as you can. I remember the first time I heard stinger, and I was like,
mine was actually with Scott, and I said, what is he?
I'm looking for something. Trying to kill me?
Oh yeah, I was like, did you want to touch that? Like with my hand?
I have no idea what
I was
he was
like, where's
talking
the
about.
gloves? Like, is this gonna electric situation?
Yeah. But yeah, just do your due diligence beforehand as much as you can, just to save time. But it's also important to like do research on your own rather than just always coming to somebody with a question, because that can be annoying. Like if you're always like asking, like you said, like come with specific questions rather than just a broad general. Because there's so much. So come as specific as you can, just to, you know, narrow things down.
When was your first time on the set, and who'd you?
So yeah, our stories are so different because my origin started more run and gun, so to speak, not on sets. And so I started out doing real estate listing videos. And so that's where I would encourage a lot of young people who are just starting out, a great place, because you're working with some real estate agents who they're just figuring out their own marketing and their own language, right? And then you go into a house and you're going to have your big wide angle lens, and you can go mess up as much as you need to learn. You're going to learn your camera's autofocus and why is ISO doing this and what is metering. I think it's a great place where you can just take step by step. And then like Scott said, being competent at one thing will open doors for other areas, meaning that the first real estate agents I was working with, their job is to be connected on Instagram, right? And so a construction company saw my video on their Instagram and they said, hey, will you do our construction video? And then I said, sure, let's do it. And then I got some more gear, learned a few more things. And then the owner of the construction company said, "Hey, we're getting married in a few months.
Oh my God.
Can you do our wedding video?" And I initially said, "No way. I don't know how to do that." And then I went right back to YouTube.
Yeah.
And I had some friends, right? I had a friend who did a little bit of that, and he said, "Oh, you need to do this. You need to audio gear, right? Now I need to start investing in audio gear. It's not just a real estate video." And so yeah, be competent in one thing. And when people like working with you, it's going to open up doors.
Yeah.
And back to that wedding example, I initially said, "No, I don't know how to do that. Hire someone else." And they said, "No, we like working with you."
Yeah.
You got it. I bet that was the only wedding video you ever did.
No, I've done. I actually like doing weddings, but
And would you do it again?
I still love doing weddings. But yeah, I'm more of a run and gun guy. So learning all those terms like DP, it took me a while to know director of photography and all this other stuff. Yeah, it's been years for me. So we go in different paths to get here in this room.
100%.
The film business is so weird and quirky because the terminology, you know, some of it, well, it's like a lot of things in the English language, but it came from like, you know, something that was going on in 1915 or something. It's nutty, you know, and everything just has these like nicknames. It doesn't even make any sense. You know, and then you just got to learn this weird, esoteric, strange language.
C-47s.
It's just nuts. It's just
I don't know what
nuts.
that
It's
is.
just it doesn't make any sense. You just got to figure out what the heck people are talking about and learn it. You know.
Yeah.
And, what's a Mickey?
What's a Mickey? Oh, it's
a little
something
mouse.
you slip somebody at a party, I think.
There you go.
But, no, a Mickey is an open-face 1K tungsten light. There you go. So I got a question though. This is for sound people. What do you do to work with lighting people? Is there any tricks you have for working with lighting people or sound
Getting
people?
away as
Put their
much
stand.
as possible.
Put their stand right where the light's supposed to
As
be.
much as possible, get in their way.
Now I'm not talking what you do. I'm talking about what you should be doing.
Okay. Oh, okay. Okay. I'm sorry.
Yeah, because wherever you put the stand to hold the boom, that's the best place for a light.
That's
Yeah.
the joke. Is how's the gaffer know where to put the key light? He waits till the sound guy puts the boom up, and that's where he puts it.
That's where it
I
goes.
love
If you get a good rapport going with your gaffer, you can perhaps get them to, like if you're trying to boom something, give you a hole where you can get it in and not make any shadows.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean the boom pole?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Or jib. Get your mind out of the
Or
gutter,
jib.
Ralph.
Yeah.
So, all right. So when do you do that?
When do you start?
When do you approach the gaffer?
You
and-
start massaging the guy to
Yeah,
say,
well,
hey, by the way,
When
I want to
you're,
put
when
the
you're
boom right there.
rehearsing, do you do that, or do you do it before or after?
It's tough because sometimes you don't get a rehearsal.
That's right.
And
You don't
you
get
have to-
rehearsal anymore.
You have to guess where people are going to land, and yeah.
Yeah. You.
But if you walk in and the lights are already up and it's a circle,
That's right.
yeah, that's what starts making me anxious because now I got to have a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everyone thinks body mics are great. Can't you just use body mics? And I mean, they work pretty well, but you know, we kind of hate having sound be somewhat subject to what talent is wearing and how noisy it is, which is why we like boom, because it reduces the problems with clothing rustle. But sometimes we have to rely on body mics more than we like, and boom could be set up somewhere, but you can't do much with it because it might be casting shadows everywhere. I mean, that can happen. Another weird, one of the best collaborations with camera I had recently was an out-of-town camera person, but it was just a person sitting in a chair being interviewed. Should be simple. Well, you know, they picked a location. It was very noisy, so I was kind of worried about the audio with respect to the background noise. And we actually had a conference call, and this never happens, but there had been a conference call, and I said, hey, you know, you're doing a sit-down interview, and I've looked at your other interviews, and I see that they're very wide. but camera's locked down. Can I put the boom in the shot and then you get a plate and mat out the boom in post? Did I use those terms correctly?
Yeah.
Okay. So, and they were like, yeah, we do that all the time. And I said, okay, good, no problem. And then we get there, and the guy's like, okay, you can have the boom in the shot, but watch out, because if she goes like this, I don't want her hands to intersect the boom.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and I said, okay, but that means the boom has to be 3 feet away. And again, it was a noisy background, like a noisy communal office space across like a very thin wall, and so it was noisy. So we're getting closer to, rolling on the person, and I said, okay, the boom's still kind of far away. Do we think she's gonna go like this?
Right.
And he goes, well, in case she does. And I said, well, I can't remember when any interview subject has really ever gone like this. And I said, so I'm losing like 2 feet of proximity. And unless you tell me that she's a cheerleader and she really goes like this, can I get the boom closer? And he's like, okay. He was like, I get what you're saying. Okay. And she didn't go like this, but she did go like this, but that's okay. All right, so that was a recent collaboration I had, since you asked about collaborations. But you gotta
deal with personality.
You gotta deal with personality, but I think it's good to introduce yourself early and use names, because no one will introduce themselves to me. So I gotta go and meet everybody, and then at some point I gotta go up, talk to the DP or camera person and say, once I've seen the location and I start to get an idea of what's going to be weird, then I may go up to him and talk to him about the first 2 or 3 things that are going to be my concerns, if I need to talk to them, and maybe I don't need to talk to them about it. And then always little things come up at the last minute too.
I agree that trying to get in and be a part of the discussion ahead of time helps. And it lets the lighting person perhaps think of some way that would help accommodate your concerns there. And it may be like putting the lights higher, and so that the angle of the lights are steeper, and it throws the shadow further away, or it gives you a place to come in, or putting flags on the top of lights. Well, everybody likes to use big soft sources now, and they're difficult to flag. But it may be getting the person further out from the wall, so there's less chance of shadow appearing there. And then the lighting person and the camera people have to keep an eye on very subtle shadows passing over the person's head when somebody's trying to follow with a boom mic a couple of different people. So we all want to come across with the best product we can. And it takes everybody kind of working together to get that way. So, anyway.
Yeah, that's the thing. We all want it to be not just good, but great.
Yeah.
Right. And so, so if I'm asking you, can you... I want my part to be great, too.
And the producer's version of that is cheap. They want it to be great, which means cheap.
Yeah.
You mentioned, how to get into the business. People contact me regularly about internships. I'm always open to that, and that's a really good thing. I think regardless of what kind of work I do, if somebody knows nothing, I think they can gain a lot, and I think most people that do that do gain a lot. I wanted to bring up something different. What I know about is my history, and my history goes through certain eras of business and plan certain segments of businesses where I've been, right? And, I look at now is weird to me. It's probably weird to everybody because things are changing every freaking day, So I don't know. I don't know if anybody has the answers to this, but, I feel like the one way I look at it is I feel like the world, and this has been going on for 15 years, the world is exploding into diversity. production used to have certain sort of segments. You had the movie world and the TV world and whatever, and they were sort of defined, and they were confined by the need for like expensive equipment and a lot of training and all that. And all this cheap equipment and technology came along. Anybody could do anything, and everybody started doing everything, and social media came along, and all these new forms came along, and now everybody's doing everything. And so now you have like many types of things going on. And people will talk to you. Everybody wants to sell their thing. Everybody's excited about their thing. So people will talk to you about, well, this is the new thing. This is the new thing. That's dead. This is gone. This is what's happening. This is, and it's all over the map, right? I mean, and I don't think anything's gone away. People still making big budget movies. People still making low budget movies. People still making TV shows. People still making news shows. Everything's still there, but people are making TikTok videos or just sitting in their car talking to people. It's just every freaking where. And I have no answers about that. I mean, all I know is I just try to like keep driving the bus and doing what I'm doing, and whatever people ask for, I try to do it. But I'm just wondering what anybody's thoughts about are like, how does the world now like change? I don't know, like you guys that are younger, you may not have a perspective to say how's it different than it used to be. You may not know how it used to be. But I mean, maybe it's just like, what do you think about, going forward in this business? What do you think being in this business means? Because I know some people just think it's like, I'm going to be a podcaster. I'm going to get rich on, being a viral video person. But you guys don't seem to be talking about being viral video people. You seem to be talking about more traditional stuff, right? So how does all that fit together?
I agree.
Wonder what anybody's thoughts are on that.
I feel overwhelmed at times.
Yeah.
And in the sense that I started in 2017, and I was making little marketing videos for people's companies that would go on Instagram. But then when it made that switch to vertical, I was like, I hate this. And I still do hate it.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I feel
good,
old
thank
school
you.
about that. Yeah. And I'm like, wow, I started in 2017 and I'm young and I'm in the iPhone generation, right?
Yeah.
And new gear that comes out where these cameras have crazy fast autofocus. Well, you don't need a focus puller, right? The drones are so smart, they fly themselves. And the speed at which things are moving, AI, and it's crazy.
That's the ultimate example, AI.
Yeah.
What's that going to mean? I
Well-
mean, do you even need to make a production at all?
Hey, the thing with AI that I feel is that rather than have it replace your job, have it enhance it.
Yeah.
That's what you need to do. You need to, someday maybe it can do all this stuff, and that day may be here sooner than we might hope. But for now, if you use it to enhance your work, it can make you look a lot better than you are because you're getting help from the universe in this amazing program. So that's the thing. I mean, I grew up, I look at AI today and I'm like, I'm glad I'm not a day younger. It's kind of scary. But then, that's the glass half empty. The glass half full is, let's see how this can make me better.
Right.
Yeah.
And so that's how I feel about it at this point anyway. But one other thing though is technology increases exponentially. So this is a huge deal. And it's a year from now, we're probably going to look back and have no idea what's coming.
Yeah.
And hopefully it's good. Hopefully it helps all of us out. But
The other area I see where we're moving so fast is just people's attention spans.
oh
Yeah. Yeah.
I want to tell.
Wait, did you say something?
right? And I want to tell a story and
30
visually,
seconds to do it.
right? And we're learning all this stuff about lighting, and you want to have this cool transition across someone's face, but well, you've lost their attention. And then not only that, on these social things, there's all this stuff like how many likes. There's a little heart meter in the comment thing, and this. And you put your text here, and you have this little square to put some text, and don't show it too long, or else. And so that's the other thing to grapple with beyond the technology.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like it could be overwhelming, honestly, because there's so many different avenues now. And I think we're traditional, it was more black and white. And it was also, I think, just more about the craft. Like
Mhm.
there was more, it was more intuitive, I think, back then when you're thinking about just studying the craft and studying the art forms of the different areas versus now it's like
It's about the numbers.
Yeah, it's about the numbers.
views.
Yeah, the views. You can get away with a lot of stuff,
okay.
and you know, it's when you're talking about traditional versus like now, you don't necessarily have to do all of that to still produce things. I personally, I love the art form of it, like of just storytelling itself. To go to that attention span, like, yeah, people's attention spans don't hold anymore. Like even like stuff I cut now, it's like, hey, you might do like even like a 15-minute short. They're like, can you cut this into like a minute so
Yeah.
you can get this on social
No.
media, you know? And like now, you know, you're exporting like 10 different aspect ratios and
Yeah.
crap and making
Yeah.
sure it, you know, H.264, Apple Pro, whatever it is, so it can fit, you know, 6 different platforms. So I think in that sense, like, you just have to be more diverse in the way that you think, because the conventions in which things are moving and the platforms that they're going on, like, is changing, because like what people are chasing is changing, and it's like constant.
Yeah.
So now it's more about, I think, keeping up with that too, right? In addition to still studying the craft and still making sure you're giving that and paying its dues there. So, yeah.
And the other thing for you younger folk, everyone in the world now is a videographer.
Yeah.
But most of them suck.
Yeah.
So if you can, you know,
Yeah.
hone in your craft and stand out, that will help you out big time.
Well-
Because there's a lot of really bad stuff out there.
Yeah.
I'll tell you
Unfortunately,
what-
a lot of it passes, though. I mean, I can't tell you how much stuff I see on
Yeah,
broadcast
so
television.
That's true.
That's maddening. It's, you know, and you know, of course, I'm an audio guy, so that's what I'm looking for most of the time. And you know, it's like,
terrible.
I can't tell you how many times I've watched something and thought, did you have the mic on the other side of the room? What's going on?
Right.
And it,
Yeah.
somebody greenlit it and let it go.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what makes things interesting and really changes things. If we lived in Star Trek land and everybody just did what they wanted to do and there wasn't no such thing as money, it'd be fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Everybody would do what they want to do, and the artists would do what they want to do, and the influencers would do what they want to do. Everything would be fine.
All right.
But money is tied to everything. And if you want to do this for a living instead of a hobby, and you want to be able to afford good equipment, somebody has to pay you to do it, right? So now you have to do something that somebody's willing to pay for. And then you're tied in with what are people willing to pay for? What do people want to pay for? And then you're talking about this whole group of people that have nothing to do with art or anything. They're these people that, who knows, they're marketing people. They're trying to follow trends. They're trying to follow numbers. They're trying to, it's like this whole completely different set of people
Yeah.
that have nothing to do with what you're interested in. And you're trying to like work for them. And, you know, that just makes it craziness
Oh, that's
because
a whole other class, is the business of it.
Yeah. It's
Right.
a business side.
because you're trying if you're not working with the business people, you're not working.
Right.
And if you're not working, you're a starving artist, which is great. But, you know, most of us need to make a living.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It's about,
we got to navigate that world somehow,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
yeah.
I
And
can't
that
tell you
makes
how
it-
many times I've seen like job postings at universities that supposedly teach what we do, and the job offer, the rate that they offer for this position is so low. I just want to call them up and say, why would I go to your school if this is what I can expect when I get out? You know, so
Yeah.
something has to be done there.
People fill in positions that
There's-
they know nothing about.
Yeah,
I think,
it's
like you said about marketing, like you have your marketing department, your advertising department, and they're looking at the numbers, how things are doing online as far as, like I said, views, likes, shares, all those things, rather than, okay, how much did this actually cost to set up, like at the end of the day?
Yep.
Just even, I do a lot of, short form content. Oops, sorry. And because of that, I think a lot of my clients think because it's short form, it's small money.
Yeah. It's not
Like,
expensive, but it's still
it's
the same.
the same setup. I'm just, if anything, I feel like I'm kind of doing more work because I'm using my brain more to figure out how can I make this
Condense
15,
it, yeah.
15-minute piece a 1 minute.
Right.
Into 1 minute.
Or now it's like 15 seconds. It's
Yeah.
like,
yeah.
you know, And I think that's the hard part about the industry as far as like everything being so diverse. I'm thankful. This is just the type of person I am. I'm just a versatile person. And I like to work in different avenues, work with different people, all those things. But not everyone is like that. But for me, how it, works to my advantage is I'm not, closed off to doing different jobs. But at the same time, there are people who can do the job better. Like, that's why we have these specialties. That's why you have somebody who's a DP, the behind the scenes or sound or whatever, because you can't do everything great. Like, the camera alone is a lot to figure out. Like, you have a specific, like an AC. Like, if we think about their job, in retrospect, like, they know most like about almost every camera, and these cameras are so intuitive, and it's just like, you want to pay me $1,000 to do 10 different jobs, essentially. So, I think going forward and into the future with how everything is moving so fast, you kind of just gotta surround yourself with the right people who have the right mindset about where the industry's going, but you also have to continue to like feed your interest in a way. Like, okay, yes, you do your projects for your clients, but don't forget about your passion projects, because at the end of the day, I don't think anybody really just picks up a camera because the money. Like, I know I didn't. Like, I remember I started shooting. I was taking pictures on my iPhone of my high school's football team, and I loved it. And I remember I used to crush the mess out of it, turn the clarity all the way up. Like, that was just what I liked at the time. It was terrible. But I even heard on a podcast today, like, what would you do if money wasn't a factor? I'd still be doing this. Like, I'll be finding a way to have a camera. So, keep the passion a passion as much as you can.
Yeah, wrap it up. Thank you guys, everybody, so much. It was awesome stuff, and I really appreciate your input, and you all are awesome. Thank you.
Thanks, Scott.
All right.
All right.
Woo!